Yo, man, what's up? How's everybody doing, man? Oh shit, I gotta. Yeah, that's better. Oh, you guys ever get itchy on your head? It happens in the summer for me because of the sweat and the heat. I mean, it's definitely time. It's definitely time for ACV rinse right now. Definitely time. Do you ever smell your locks? Like scratch your head, then smell your fingers? I mean, it's one way to tell if your dreads stink or not. One thing I'll do, like, sometimes I'll put my finger like right up in my lock. Doesn't smell bad, but there is definitely some buildup there. So not too bad, not too bad. Things have been going pretty good. I appreciate you guys that have subscribed to the Not Locs channel. That's just a backup channel for now. Anytime that this channel might get a community guideline strike or a jail time sentence, I'm gonna post over there. So it's just good to have that as a backup channel because I've been getting some strikes lately. But regardless, I love to talk about locks, and I actually posted on the community tab yesterday or 3 days ago. I posted, let's get to it. Ask me a question down below. I'll answer it in my next video. And guess what? This is that next video. So who asked me some questions? Only 8 people asked me a question. For type 1 straight hair, would you ever recommend starting the locks with the crochet method in order to help out the process? My hair would take a really long time to naturally lock up, and I need to keep it somewhat neat for work. Thanks, bro. Starting locked with the crochet method? Yes, I would recommend starting with a crochet hook method. In fact, a lot of people with type 1 hair, this tends to be the best alternative to starting locks, because once you get that initial crocheting in to set the locks and to set their parts, all you gotta do is freeform them in after that. And I will tell you that once you start freeforming, the original locks that you crocheted in are not gonna stay looking the same. They're gonna change, they're gonna join up, they're gonna get frizzier, they're gonna shrink, they're gonna loop, but they will lock. So if you're saying that you gotta keep it somewhat neat for work, honestly, the best thing that you can do for that is either wear a hat to work or tie them back like halfway, you know? That's pretty much it. I mean, if you're really worried about keeping them neat for work, you're gonna have to hire someone to keep crochet hooking your locks, which, you know, isn't ideal, but if it's for work and you gotta look neat, then that's what's gonna happen. But otherwise, I bet you if you went in with freeform locks just tied back a bit or under a hat, no one will say anything to you. I think you'll be okay. Kellen Moore, he says, I'm a landscaper. Any good recommendations on a cap to keep my crown free from dirt, dust, and debris while I work? I also need to keep my head cool while I'm working in the summer heat. Depending on how long your locks are, Kellen, I would recommend wearing, you know, sleeves like this. Put your hair up and wrap it up in there. Tams, wool tams are actually really good as well, because I mean, essentially you're gonna be looking for a nice big tam to keep your locks up. Now, despite a tam being made out of, let's say, wool or synthetic fibers, and it might seem thick and warm, it will keep you cool, because for one, when your hair is in a tam, it's keeping your locks kind of off your neck and your nape, which allow for a lot more airflow to go through. And at the same time, with your locks like on your head covered, the sun doesn't penetrate into your locks and into your scalp. It's gonna penetrate, or it's gonna reflect off the tam, keeping your head area cooler than it would be if the sun was beaming directly on your scalp. So it might seem a little counterproductive by wearing a tam in the summer, but I found that it does work for keeping me cool and keeping the dust out. And actually quite recently, I had a campfire in my backyard and I always wear a tam. Even a really loose fitting tam helps to keep the smoke out of my locks. For me, my biggest pet peeve with locks and smells is when campfire smokes. When campfire smoke, it gets locked in my hair and I hate that smell. So wearing a tam around that shit keeps the smoke out. It'll keep the dust out, the dirt out. It's gonna be your best way to go. It's gonna be your best way to go. Vicky Connor says, to oil or not to oil? What's the best oil for freeform locks? Peace and blessings. You want to oil, but not too much. I only oil my locks maybe 4 times a year. And with that said, it's not even like a full out oil and like getting it into all my locks. It's just the scalp area that gets bothersome. So I'm a big fan of black castor oil. This one is really good, really good one to find in the store near you. But you can also use like coconut oil, jojoba oil, really any type of oil that you fancy. Look into some organic flavors. And just remember, less is always more. Set Naya Batanga says, what are your top 3 styles that you did with both the early stages of locks and the current stages of your locks? And what is your go-to style? Okay, in my early stages of dreadlocks, my go-to style was the headband. Just any type of headband thickness, and then just putting it on and tying my hair back like halfway. You know, my hair's really long now, so it's not gonna look the same, but I did like a half pullback. And then the rest of my locks kind of like flipped out at the back, all right? Early stages, that's all I could really do besides wearing a toque or a beanie a lot of the times as well. I love hats. So in the early stages, I definitely covered up my hair a lot more, to be honest. Now that my locks are longer, my go-to hairstyle is often just tying back my locks with other locks like that. Very simple, very effective. Another cool hairstyle I like to do is the top bun. I don't really wear it a whole lot, but it is fun just to kind of figure out some sort of wrap like that, and I can tie my locks with my own locks. You know, this kind of look is really fun as well. Third style is actually just wearing a tam, stuffing all my locks in the biggest hat that I have and rocking the tam. I'm not one for styling my hair too much because I don't like the way that it pulls on my scalp. If I were to do like, you know, braids or twist ups or braid outs, whatever, like I just don't like being my head being pulled on. And my locks are already heavy enough with these Congos that it gets pulled on naturally in certain situations anyways. So yeah, I just like to keep it simple. And honestly, the best hairstyle for dreadlocks is just wearing your hair down, wearing it naturally how it is, and showing the world that you're confident with how you look, you know? A lot of hairstyles can bring false confidence, I find, because we're not really accepting ourselves for the way that we look naturally. What are your favorite hairstyles for locks? I'd love to know in the comments down below. Dawn Provolone says, on a more serious note, is there a way that we can get pics without social media? Perhaps an email. Thank you. Yes, you can email me your photos, notlocs@gmail.com. Put in the subject line, dreadlock submission, and I will find it. Yoki96 says, Not Nation, what can I do if I have flake or residue inside of my locks? I'm not comfortable on scratching off my dreadlocks. Any advice, bro? Flakes or residue inside the locks, that's a tough one. Because if it's really bad, it might not all come out, especially when it's inside. And yeah, you don't really want to be scratching off your locks because you're gonna damage your locks, you're gonna pull hair out. I mean, best thing you can really do is try to do a rinse and try and break it down with apple cider vinegar. Another thing that actually kind of works with getting flakes out of locks on the inside is oiling your locks. Now I had an issue with one of my locks, this one actually, after I kind of opened it up, I saw a lot of buildup inside there. So what I did was I actually put black castor oil in the areas that I could see the buildup and then tried to like rub it in, and it almost like dissolved the flakes because it moisturized it, right? Like, and I haven't really seen it come back since, but it worked, you know? So I would recommend trying to do an ACV rinse, trying to oil the area. Find black castor oil, it's fucking phenomenal. That's kind of it. And then Dawn says, you trying to come by my crib tonight, having a little bonfire action if you're interested. My boy Ian will be there too. Dawn Provolone, do I know you? Are we friends somewhere? And speaking of bonfires, that's what I had mentioned earlier about wearing a tam around bonfires. Keep that smoke out of your locks. I don't find that there's anything worse than the smell of smoke in my locks. So that's kind of where I'm at. But that's kind of it. Thanks for those of you guys that did submit questions for this video. There wasn't very many, but I do appreciate everybody that took the time to participate in this video. I'll be doing another Reddit reaction really soon, so drop off your photos on Reddit. Email me your photos, notlocs@gmail.com. You can always send them on a DM to Instagram as well. But that's pretty much it for today. So thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Peace out, one love, family, and the Knot Nation. I'm out of here. Well, God.